Manchester United are once again being linked with a move for Conor Gallagher, who is currently on the books of Atlético Madrid. Reports emerging from Spain and England suggest that the Red Devils remain intrigued by the industrious midfielder and could test the waters with a fresh approach in the January 2026 transfer window. It has been no secret over the past few months that United are in the market for reinforcements in the middle of the park. The arrival of Rubenamorim in the dugout has ushered in a clear vision of how he wants his side to operate, and a combative yet technically capable midfielder sits high on his list of priorities. United's search in the summer did not quite bear fruit, leaving the Portuguese manager short of options. The name of Conor Gallagher had already featured prominently on their shortlist. Having come through the ranks at Chelsea before making the switch to Spain, Gallagher's high-energy style and natural leadership qualities have caught the eye of United's hierarchy. United even made an inquiry during the previous window, only to see their advances rebuffed by Atletico, who were keen to hold on to the player. According to transfer insider Fabrizio Romano, however, the Manchester club have not abandoned hope. Rather, their interest remains strong, with preparations reportedly underway to return with a new proposal when the market reopens in January. It seems the Old Trafford hierarchy view Gallagher as a solution to some of the persistent problems afflicting their midfield. The situation is compounded by the realities facing Casemiro, who has been an immense presence since joining from Real Madrid but now finds himself struggling to maintain the relentless schedule of English football due to advancing years. The Brazilian's influence remains undoubted, but his ability to start match after match is no longer guaranteed. United, therefore, find themselves in need of fresh legs in that central area, particularly with the fixture list set to intensify in the new year. Domestic competitions, European commitments, and the demands of a congested calendar mean Amorim cannot realistically hope to rely on the same small core of midfielders. Gallagher, with his tireless running and tactical discipline, would provide exactly the kind of depth required. The reported plan being drawn up is for a loan move that would see Gallagher spend 6 months at Old Trafford. This would give United the immediate reinforcement they crave without necessarily committing substantial funds in the short term. The precise details remain unclear, particularly whether the agreement might include an option or obligation to purchase permanently at the end of the spell. United are said to be relatively confident that Atletico could be persuaded this time round. Rumours emerging from Spain suggest Gallagher has not entirely settled into life in Madrid. While he has featured for Diego Simeone's side, the style of play and cultural adjustment have not proven straightforward. A return to English football could be appealing for the midfielder, who has always seemed at home in the Premier League's fast tempo. That potential openness on Gallagher's part gives United encouragement. The club believe they can tempt him with regular football, a familiar environment, and the chance to play a pivotal role in the Amorim project. The lure of Old Trafford, combined with the opportunity to re-establish himself as a central figure in English football, may prove persuasive. Even so, there appears to be another layer to United's transfer strategy. While Gallagher is admired, reports claim that the club's longer-term ambition is to land Carlos Baleba of Brighton and Hove Albion. The young midfielder has been on United's radar for some time, and the expectation is that serious efforts will be made to prize him away in the summer of 2026. This explains why United may prefer a temporary arrangement with Gallagher rather than rushing into a permanent deal. By doing so, they can shore up their midfield in the short term while keeping their powder dry for a bigger move further down the line. In that sense, Gallagher could be both a valuable stopgap and a potential long-term addition, depending on how matters unfold. There is, of course, a degree of risk attached to this strategy. Should Atletico insist on a mandatory purchase clause, United may have to weigh the merits of committing long-term versus preserving funds for Baleba. Manchester United were once again firmly in the spotlight during the summer transfer window of 2025, particularly because of their pursuit of Brighton and Hove Albion's highly rated defensive midfielder Carlos Baleba. The young Cameroonian has been a revelation in the Premier League, drawing admiration from some of the biggest clubs across Europe. United were extremely keen to secure Baleba's services, identifying him as a key addition to bolster the spine of their midfield. The Red Devils hierarchy, guided by new manager Ruben Amorim, considered him a long-term solution in the holding role. However, despite their determination, the pursuit ended in disappointment. Brighton were not prepared to part ways with Baleba cheaply, insisting that only an offer in excess of £100 million would be sufficient to open negotiations. That price tag proved to be a stumbling block. Manchester United, though flush with ambition, had already spent heavily earlier in the summer. Their budget had been stretched to its limits after a lavish outlay on attacking reinforcements. In total, United committed more than £200 million on 3 new forwards. Matheus Cunha, Brian Bumo and Benjamin Eko all arrived at Old Trafford, a trio expected to revitalise United's frontline and deliver goals in abundance. With so much of the club's resources already invested in those arrivals, matching Brighton's valuation for Baleba was simply unrealistic. United reluctantly stepped away from the chase, deciding to bide their time rather than risk financial imprudence. Nonetheless, the admiration for Baleba has not faded. Figures within the club still regard him as a priority target for the future, and there is every expectation that United will revisit the possibility of signing him in 2026. In the meantime, United's recruitment team have been busy identifying more affordable alternatives. They believe they have already found one in Nottingham Forest's promising midfielder Elliot Anderson. The 22-year-old has made a name for himself with Forest, operating in a similar role to Baleba. What makes him especially appealing is not only his defensive discipline but also his composure and vision on the ball. Anderson's reputation has been further enhanced at international level. Recently, he was handed his first call-up to the England national side, marking a significant milestone in his burgeoning career. He made his senior debut against Andorra and followed that up with another appearance against Serbia. Impressively, Anderson was named man of the match in both fixtures, underlining his rapid progress and maturity on the international stage. Manchester United are now strongly considering a move for him during the January 2025 window. The club may act sooner rather than later if current midfield stalwart Manuel Ugarte fails to rediscover his form. Ugarte, the Uruguayan international, has come under heavy scrutiny for his underwhelming displays both at Old Trafford and with his national side. His recent performances have even drawn harsh criticism from pundits, including former Chelsea man Craig Burley. That uncertainty has convinced United that another option in midfield is necessary. Anderson, with his energy, ball-winning abilities and range of passing, fits the bill perfectly. His statistical output is also encouraging, as demonstrated by his 107 passes with a 94% accuracy rate during England's clash with Andorra. Perhaps most importantly for United, Anderson represents a financially attainable target. His market valuation is currently in the region of £40 million, far more manageable than the astronomical sum demanded for Baleba. It is a figure that aligns neatly with United's present financial circumstances and could make him one of the smartest acquisitions of the upcoming window.